And a good Sunday afternoon on this first day of 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. We're looking at the last week's version here of the significant amount of precipitation and moisture coming in off the Pacific Ocean, kind of wrapping up into a ridge of higher pressure, which is currently illustrated on the East Coast. That works on out with a system, and then we're going to see a little bit of colder weather. We're making that transition today, Sunday, the 1st of January, 2023. Let's take a look at the current conditions. Another significant trough of low pressure has come ashore on the west coast. You can see that by the dip here in the sort of light tan colors here. That's 500 millibars or hectopascal thicknesses. And what you can see here is also the northern branch of the jet stream. That's really controlling the weather in Canada. We're pretty close to that, but not quite. So consequently, we have a lot of warmth that's been circulating up the eastern seaboard and across most of the country and into our neck of the woods with record high temperatures over the past 48 hours. Basically, this is now being pushed off the coast, and consequently, we're looking at temperatures starting to come on down and transition into the region. So what you're looking at here is temperatures at about 850 hectopascals or millibars. That's roughly about the same altitude at the top of Mount Mansfield. This is cutting across, of course, the entire country. So the areas in the Rockies, the temperatures are basically at surface because of the elevation and so on and so forth. You're looking at anomalous temperatures at this level. So this is extra warm, extra warm. You can see the tan colors, and then colder conditions here. So consequently, we're seeing temperatures relatively warm with a little bit of a cool down over the next couple of days. But by the time we get into Tuesday, we're looking at another warm shot. By the way, this is the GFS ensemble. This is the European ensemble. And both of these are in really good agreement, as you'll see. We see by the time we end the work week, later this coming week, Thursday, the 5th of January, we're starting to see a little bit of colder air across the southeast United States. But note, it kind of cuts across warmer. So our dips in temperature are not very significant. However, our warm-ups are significant, and that's been the name of the game here. Now, going a little bit further beyond the period, this is valid Monday night next week. We get into Monday night, Tuesday, Tuesday night, Wednesday, Wednesday night, Thursday. We're into Friday, and then eventually Saturday before we might see a little bit of a cool down start to work on into the region. This is the last day. This is quite a ways out, so we're looking at 360 hours out in time. That would be about the middle part of the month, and you can see that colder air will have cut across the country at that point in time. With this high latitude blocking, that could be several days, maybe even a few weeks of colder than normal weather, but that's something we'll have to keep a close eye on, and there is some indications that a perturbed vortex, polar vortex, could stretch, and that stretching polar vortex might mean colder weather for the lower 48. This is the European deterministic, and the GFS ensemble keeps on the right here. Precipitation type green is rain, and of course the purple color, the blue colors here are snow. The extra heavier snows you can see kind of cutting across parts of Quebec and northern Maine, and that kind of moves on out. It leaves us with a little bit of snow shower or flurry action, and this is going to be with us over the next couple of days as temperatures do cool down a little bit. We have this Alberta Clipper system that's fairly weak. Most of it goes to the north, and what you can see is it kind of works itself out. Once we get into Tuesday, a little bit of mixed precipitation with this incoming weather system here. You can see just a little bit of freezing rain, but it's mostly just a travel hazard. It is not going to affect utilities, and it's pretty minimal at that. Now this area of low pressure is pushing in with the next weather system, kind of elongated. So this first phase comes in with a bulk of rain on about on Tuesday afternoon. That moves on out, and then we get a little bit of a rain shower in between with this last area of low pressure bringing us primarily rain. But what you can see is high pressure is building back up across the high plains, the northern Great Lakes, and into parts of Canada. And this 1033 hectopascal area of higher pressure is going to start controlling things for Friday as we end the work week. But we're going to transition from rain to a little bit of mixed precipitation types, and eventually to a little bit of wet snow. All of this is just a travel issue and is not going to affect utilities as it looks right now. And eventually, along about Friday, late Thursday night, Friday morning, we're going to start to see basically this area of higher pressure start to control our weather. And you can see about 10:30 here, And it looks like that's going to be giving us potentially 2, maybe even 3 days in a row going into next weekend. This is valid a little beyond the period now. This is about 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and then through 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and then continuing that maybe through about 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So we get some drier weather finally before some more incoming snow shower and flurry action with these weaker systems that are coming on in. Looking at the total QPF expected over the next 7 days, from the Weather Prediction Center, you can see a lot of West Coast inundation from that fire hydrant coming in off the Pacific Ocean. A lot of that makes it into the Rocky Mountains and higher terrain, begins to dry on out, and sort of a secondary subset of moisture comes in off the Gulf of Mexico and then makes that classic curl. Some of that makes it into Vermont and northern New England. A lot of it does not. Temperature anomalies across the northern hemisphere easily seen here, where we do have a little bit of cooler weather, colder conditions up in the sort of archipelago of the Canadian archipelago and southern parts of Greenland. Also a little bit back across Siberia and then trying to work into the north slope of Alaska, but a lot of warmth in North America, a lot of warmth in the backside of Europe, and so on and so forth. But over the next 5 days, these are the high temperatures indicated with 18 degrees or higher, centered on West Virginia. That ridge is, of course, north, the temperature gradient ridge anyway. And we're looking at temperatures in our neck of the woods here about 12 degrees above normal. About 3 days later, it looks like this. We're going to see temperatures cool off just a little bit, 6 to 9 degrees above normal. And we're starting to see some inroads here with either neutral or slightly below normal temperatures making it across the Intermountain West. In terms of precipitation, with our recent shots of rain that we've been seeing, we've been really catching up on groundwater, and we're starting to look pretty good. This is the blue line here that represents Addison County. You can see all the different counties in the state of Vermont, Windsor County. Everybody is picking up on moisture now and kind of evening things out, and this is all good news for our water tables, our streams and rivers. This is snow extent across the northern hemisphere, and you might note that we were running pretty much in the higher variables until we got into basically November. And what this really shows here, the anomalies for the northern hemisphere, we've been kind of below normal except a spike that developed in late September into parts of October. A little bit of a fool's errand here, and then it really dropped right off, and then we spiked back up in November, and then since then we're kind of been edging down. Now, interesting to note here, the northern hemisphere as a whole, it's really North America that's been carrying the ball game here in terms of snow extent. And as you can really see that downtick here, and again, this is for Eurasia. So looking at North America, it's quite a bit more. We've been kind of on the higher side. So we're doing pretty good in North America up until recent, and we're starting to lose it for everybody. And some very odd weather taking place, certainly, as we head into the late part of December and into January. And once again, looking at current temperatures across the region with this milder than normal weather. And it does look like we're going to transition out and then a pretty good uptick by the middle part of the week with rain. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.